The morning sun shone through the tall windows of the courthouse. Marcus Rodriguez stood outside the heavy wooden doors, taking deep breaths. His hands shook a little as he held his papers. Today was important. Today would decide if he would get the help he needed. Marcus looked down at Luna, his German shepherd dog. She sat perfectly still beside him. Her brown eyes watched his face. Luna always knew when Marcus felt worried. She had been with him for 3 years now. She was more than just a pet. She was his partner, his helper, his friend. "Ready, girl?" Marcus asked softly. Luna's tail moved once. That meant yes. Marcus wore his best suit. It was a little loose now. He had lost weight since leaving the army. The prosthetic leg felt heavy under his pants. Nobody could see it, but Marcus felt every step. Each step reminded him of that day in Afghanistan. The day that changed everything. The courthouse was busy. People walked fast through the halls. Lawyers carried thick folders. Families sat on benches, waiting. Some people stared at Marcus and Luna. He was used to the stares now. A big man with a service dog always got attention. Marcus found the right courtroom. Room 205. Judge Patricia Thornton was written on a sign by the door. Marcus had heard about this judge. She was tough. She did not like people who wasted her time. She made quick decisions. Marcus hoped she would listen to his story. Inside the courtroom, wooden benches filled the space. The judge's bench sat high at the front. An American flag hung on the wall. The room smelled like old books and cleaning products. About 20 people sat in the benches. Some were other veterans waiting for their cases. Others were family members. Marcus walked slowly down the aisle. His prosthetic leg made a soft sound with each step. Luna walked beside him. She never left his side. Her black and tan fur was perfectly brushed. Her service dog vest was clean and bright. The vest had patches that said "Service Dog" and "Do Not Pet." As they walked, Luna's nails clicked on the floor. The sound seemed loud in the quiet room. Some people turned to look. An older woman smiled at Luna. A young man in uniform nodded at Marcus. These were his people. They understood. Marcus sat in the front row. Luna lay down beside his feet. She knew the routine. She had been to many meetings like this. Her job was to stay calm and help Marcus stay calm too. She was very good at her job. The bailiff called the court to order. Everyone stood up. Judge Patricia Thornton walked into the room. She was a tall woman with gray hair pulled back tight. Her black robe made her look serious. Her face showed no emotion. She sat down behind her big desk. "Be seated," she said. Her voice was sharp and clear. The judge looked at her papers. Then she looked up at the courtroom. Her eyes stopped when she saw Luna. Her eyebrows came together. She did not look happy. "Bailiff," Judge Thornton called. "There appears to be an animal in my courtroom." The bailiff looked at Marcus and Luna. "Yes, Your Honor, that's a service dog." Judge Thornton's mouth became a thin line. She stared at Marcus. "Mr. Rodriguez, is this your animal?" Marcus stood up carefully. "Yes, Your Honor. This is Luna. She's my service dog." "I have all the papers. I don't care about papers," the judge cut him off. "I run a courtroom, not a pet store. Remove the animal immediately." The room became very quiet. Marcus felt his heart beat faster. This was not how he hoped things would start. He tried to keep his voice steady. "Your Honor, Luna is a trained service dog. The law says—" "Don't tell me about the law, Mr. Rodriguez. I am the law in this courtroom. That animal is a distraction. It needs to leave now." Marcus felt sweat on his forehead. Luna sensed his stress. She moved closer to his leg. This made Marcus feel a little better, but not much. "Your Honor, please. I need Luna with me. She helps me with my disability. I can't function without her." Judge Thornton leaned forward. Her eyes were cold. "What I see is a grown man who looks perfectly fine. You walked in here on your own 2 feet. You're standing straight. You're talking clearly. Where exactly is this disability you speak of?" The people in the courtroom shifted in their seats. This felt wrong. Everyone could see the judge being mean to a veteran. But nobody said anything. This was her courtroom. She had all the power. Marcus felt his face get hot. "Your Honor, I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and I have a prosthetic leg. Luna helps me." "Oh, please," Judge Thornton said with a wave of her hand. "Everyone has stress these days. Everyone claims to have this PTSD thing, and I don't see any missing leg. You seem to walk just fine to me." Marcus lifted his pant leg a little. The metal and plastic of his artificial leg showed. "I lost my leg in Afghanistan, Your Honor, in an explosion. Luna helps me balance. She also helps when I have panic attacks. The judge barely looked. "I'm not impressed by your theater, Mr. Rodriguez. Half the people who come through here claim to be disabled heroes. Most are just looking for a free ride." The words hit Marcus like a punch. He had fought for his country. He had lost friends in war. He had given his leg for America. Now this judge called him a fake. Luna felt Marcus's anger and pain. She stood up and pressed against his leg. This was her way of helping him stay calm. But Judge Thornton saw this as bad behavior. "See? The animal is disruptive already. It's moving around. It's bothering you. This proves my point. Remove it now or I'll hold you in contempt of court." Marcus looked around the courtroom. The other veterans looked angry but scared. The bailiff looked uncomfortable. The court reporter kept typing, but her face showed she didn't like what was happening. "Your Honor, please be reasonable. Luna is trained." "Mr. Rodriguez, I've warned you twice. Remove that animal or spend the night in jail." Your choice. Marcus felt trapped. He needed this hearing. He needed the disability benefits to pay for his medical care. But he also needed Luna. Without her, he might have a panic attack right here in court. His hands started to shake. Luna saw the shaking. She knew what this meant. Marcus was getting upset. Her training kicked in. She moved into position to help him. But her movement only made Judge Thornton angrier. "Bailiff! Remove this man and his animal from my courtroom immediately." The bailiff hesitated. He didn't want to arrest a veteran, but he had to follow orders. Marcus felt the world spinning. This was going all wrong. He came here for help. Instead, he found cruelty. He looked down at Luna. She looked back at him with loyal eyes. Whatever happened, they would face it together. The courtroom held its breath. Everyone waited to see what would happen next. Nobody expected what was about to unfold. Nobody knew that Luna was much more than just a service dog. Nobody knew the secret that would change everything. The bailiff walked toward Marcus slowly. His name was Officer Johnson. He had been working in this courtroom for 10 years. He had never liked throwing people out, especially not veterans. But Judge Thornton was his boss. "Please, Your Honor," Marcus said one more time. "Give me a chance to explain." Judge Thornton slammed her hand on her desk. The loud sound made everyone jump. Even Luna's ears moved at the noise. But she stayed calm. She was trained for loud sounds. "Mr. Rodriguez, you have exactly 30 seconds to remove that animal. If you don't, you'll be arrested for contempt of court. Then you can explain yourself to a jail cell." Marcus felt sick to his stomach. He had been in many hard situations before. He had fought in 2 wars. He had been shot at by enemies. He had crawled through mud and sand. But this felt worse. This was his own country, his own people, turning against him. The people in the courtroom watched in silence. An older veteran in the 3rd row started to stand up. His wife pulled him back down. She whispered something in his ear. He sat back down, but his face was red with anger. A young woman in the back row took out her phone. She wanted to record what was happening. The bailiff saw her and shook his head. No recording allowed in court. She put her phone away but kept watching. Judge Thornton was not done yet. She looked at Marcus like he was something dirty on her shoe. "Let me guess your story, Mr. Rodriguez. You went to war. Something bad happened. Now you think the world owes you something. You got yourself a fake service dog to get attention. You want free money for the rest of your life. Am I close?" Marcus felt his chest get tight. It was hard to breathe. This sometimes happened when he got very upset. Luna felt his breathing change. She moved closer to him, her warm body pressed against his leg. "That's not true," Marcus said quietly. "I don't want free money. I need help. I have medical bills. I have therapy appointments. I can't work like I used to." "Oh, please," Judge Thornton said with a mean smile. "You look fine to me. I see young men like you in here all the time. Perfectly healthy. Claiming to be broken. Using dogs as props. It's disgusting." The court reporter stopped typing for a moment. She looked up at the judge with wide eyes. She had never heard a judge talk like this before. It was wrong. But she was just an employee. She couldn't say anything. Judge Thornton continued her attack. "What's wrong with you anyway? You say PTSD. That's not even a real disease. It's just being weak. Soldiers used to come home from wars and get back to work. They didn't cry about being scared." Marcus felt tears in his eyes. He tried to stop them, but they came anyway. Luna saw the tears. She knew Marcus was in pain. She did something she was trained to do. She put her head on Marcus's hand. This was called deep pressure therapy. It helped calm people down, but Judge Thornton saw this as more bad behavior. Look at that. The animal is all over you now. This is exactly why animals don't belong in courtrooms. They cause problems. They make messes. They distract everyone. Marcus wiped his eyes with his free hand. His other hand stayed on Luna's head. Her touch helped him think clearly. Your Honor, Luna is not causing problems. She's helping me. That's what service dogs do. They help their handlers stay calm. Service dog, Judge Thornton repeated like it was a bad word. I bet you bought that vest online. I bet you trained that dog yourself. Real service dogs cost thousands of dollars. They come from special schools. You probably just slapped a vest on your pet. This hit Marcus hard. Luna had cost the government over $50,000 to train. She was one of the best dogs in the military. She had saved hundreds of lives. But Marcus couldn't tell the judge that. Luna's military service was classified information. She is a real service dog, Marcus said. I have papers from my doctor. I have certificates from the training program. Papers can be faked, Judge Thornton said. Certificates can be bought. I've seen it all before. People will do anything to get special treatment. An older man in the second row coughed loudly. He was trying to get the judge's attention. He wanted to speak up for Marcus. Judge Thornton heard the cough and looked at him. Sir, if you can't control yourself, you can leave my courtroom. The man looked down at his hands. He stayed quiet. Everyone was scared of Judge Thornton now. She had all the power. Nobody wanted to make her angry. Marcus tried one more time to explain. Your Honor, I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm asking for the benefits I earned. I served my country for 8 years. I was wounded in action. I have medical proof of my injuries. Judge Thornton laughed, but it wasn't a nice laugh. It was cold and mean. Medical proof? You mean some doctor's note saying you're sad? You mean some therapist saying you have bad dreams? That's not proof. That's just paperwork. Marcus felt his anger rising. This was too much. He had been patient. He had been respectful. But this judge was treating him like garbage. I lost my leg for this country, Marcus said louder. I watched my friends die. I came home broken. I'm not asking for charity. I'm asking for help I was promised. Promised? Judge Thornton's voice got higher. Who promised you anything? The government doesn't promise to take care of everyone who can't handle military life. Some people are cut out for war. Some people aren't. You weren't. The words felt like knives. Marcus had been one of the best soldiers in his unit. He had won medals for bravery. He had volunteered for the most dangerous missions. He had never backed down from a fight. Luna felt Marcus's heart beating fast. She could sense his anger and pain. She was trained to help in these situations. She stood up and moved in front of Marcus. She created a barrier between him and the source of his stress. Judge Thornton saw this movement and got even angrier. Now the animal is being aggressive. It's positioning itself like it might attack. This is dangerous. Bailiff, remove them both immediately. Luna is not aggressive, Marcus said quickly. She's protecting me. That's what she's trained to do. Protecting you from what? From facing the truth? From taking responsibility for your life? That dog is enabling your weakness. Officer Johnson finally reached Marcus. He put his hand gently on Marcus's arm. Sir, I'm sorry, but you need to come with me, the bailiff said quietly. He didn't like this, but he had no choice. Marcus looked around the courtroom one last time. All the faces looked back at him. Some showed sympathy. Others showed embarrassment. A few showed anger at what they had witnessed. Judge Thornton wasn't finished yet. She had one more cruel thing to say. Mr. Rodriguez, before you go, let me give you some advice. Stop playing victim. Stop using that dog as a crutch. Get a job. Work hard. Be a man. That's what real soldiers do. Marcus felt something break inside him, not his spirit. That was already broken from war. Something else. His faith in the system. His belief that his country cared about its veterans. But as he prepared to leave with Officer Johnson, something strange happened. Luna didn't follow him right away. Instead, she turned toward Judge Thornton's bench. Her ears stood up straight. Her body became very still. Marcus noticed the change in Luna immediately. He had seen this behavior before, but not here. Not in a courtroom. Luna was alerting to something. But what? Luna's whole body changed in an instant. Marcus had been with her for 3 years. He knew all her different behaviors. He knew when she was happy, sad, tired, or excited. He knew when she was working and when she was just being a dog. This was different. This was something he hadn't seen since Afghanistan. Luna's nose lifted into the air. She was smelling something. Her nostrils moved fast, taking in air. Her ears pointed forward like radar dishes. Her tail became stiff and straight. "Come on, boy," Officer Johnson said to Marcus. "Let's go quietly." But Marcus couldn't move. He was watching Luna with growing concern. Something was very wrong. Luna was acting like she used to act in the war zone, when there was danger. Judge Thornton noticed that Marcus had stopped walking. She was still angry about everything that had happened. "Mr. Rodriguez, you're trying my patience. Leave now or face additional charges." Marcus ignored the judge. All his attention was on Luna. The dog was now facing the front of the courtroom. Her body was low and tense. Her eyes were fixed on Judge Thornton's bench. "Luna, what is it?" Marcus whispered. The other people in the courtroom started to notice Luna's strange behavior too. Dogs weren't supposed to act like this in court. Service dogs were supposed to be calm and quiet. An older veteran in the third row leaned forward. He had worked with military dogs before. He recognized what he was seeing. His face became serious. Luna took 2 steps toward the judge's bench. Then she stopped. She sat down in a very specific way. Her front legs were straight. Her head was up. Her whole body was alert. Marcus's blood went cold. He knew that position. Luna was giving him a signal. A signal he hadn't seen in 3 years, not since their last day in Afghanistan. "Oh no," Marcus said under his breath. Officer Johnson heard him. "What's wrong?" Marcus didn't answer right away. His mind was racing. Luna was trained for many things. She helped him with his PTSD. She helped him balance when his fake leg hurt. She woke him up from nightmares. But before all that, Luna had been trained for something else. Something much more dangerous. Judge Thornton was losing her patience. "Bailiff, I don't care what that animal is doing. Remove it and its owner from my courtroom immediately." Luna's ears twitched at the judge's loud voice, but she didn't move from her alert position. Her nose kept working. Her eyes stayed fixed on the area around the judge's bench. Marcus felt his heart pounding, not from stress this time. From fear, real fear, the kind of fear he used to feel in combat zones. "Officer Johnson," Marcus said quietly, "I need to tell you something important." The bailiff looked at Marcus with surprise. "Sir, we need to leave now." "No, you don't understand." "Luna is alerting. She's telling me there's danger." "Danger? What kind of danger?" Marcus looked at Luna again. She hadn't moved. She was still in perfect alert position. Her training was taking over everything else. "I can't tell you everything," Marcus said. But Luna wasn't just trained as a service dog. She had another job before this. Officer Johnson frowned. "What other job?" Marcus took a deep breath. He wasn't supposed to talk about Luna's military service. It was classified. But people's lives might be in danger. She used to find things, dangerous things, things that could hurt people. The bailiff's eyes got wide. "What kind of things?" Before Marcus could answer, Luna did something that made everyone in the courtroom freeze. She barked. Not a normal bark. A sharp, urgent bark. The kind of bark that meant immediate danger. Judge Thornton slammed her hand on her desk again. "That's it. Get that noisy animal out of here right now." But Luna barked again. And again. Each bark was exactly the same. Sharp and urgent. It was like she was trying to tell everyone something important. Marcus knew what the barking meant. In Afghanistan, Luna would bark like this when she found explosives, when she found bombs that could kill soldiers. "Everyone needs to get out," Marcus said suddenly. Officer Johnson looked confused. "What?" "Everyone needs to leave this room right now," Marcus said louder. Judge Thornton stood up behind her bench. Her face was red with anger. "Mr. Rodriguez, you are now in contempt of court. You're going to jail." But Marcus wasn't listening to the judge anymore. He was watching Luna. The dog was now pawing at the ground. She was whining softly. These were all signs Marcus recognized. Luna had found something. Something dangerous. Something that could hurt everyone in this room. Marcus turned to face the people in the courtroom. Everyone, please listen to me. My dog is trained to detect explosives. She's alerting right now. That means there might be a bomb in this room. The courtroom erupted in shocked voices. People started talking all at once. Some people stood up. Others looked around nervously. That's ridiculous, Judge Thornton shouted. This is just a trick to get attention. There are no bombs in my courtroom. But Officer Johnson was looking at Luna more carefully now. He had been a police officer for 20 years. He had worked with bomb-sniffing dogs before. Luna's behavior did look like an alert. Sir, he said to Marcus, are you serious about this? Marcus nodded. Luna has never been wrong before. If she says there's danger, there's danger. An older man in the back row stood up suddenly. I believe him, he said loudly. I worked with military dogs in Vietnam. That dog is definitely alerting to something. More people started to look worried. Parents pulled their children closer. Veterans recognized the seriousness in Marcus's voice. Judge Thornton was furious. This is absurd. Nobody is leaving my courtroom because of some dog's behavior. This is all a show, but Luna wasn't putting on a show. She was doing her job. The job she had been trained for in the military. The job that had saved hundreds of lives overseas. She moved closer to the judge's bench. Her nose was working overtime. She was following a scent trail. A scent that meant danger. Marcus felt sick to his stomach. Not from his PTSD this time, from the terrible realization that Luna might be right. There might really be a bomb in this courtroom. And if there was, everyone's life was in danger, including the judge who had been so cruel to him. Marcus closed his eyes for a moment. Memories flooded back. Memories he tried hard to forget. Memories of sand and heat and the smell of diesel fuel. Memories of Luna when she was young and strong and fearless. 3 years ago, Marcus and Luna were in Afghanistan. It was Marcus's second tour of duty. Luna's first. She was only 2 years old then, but she was already the best explosives detection dog in the unit. Marcus remembered the day they first met. He had been chosen to be Luna's handler because of his experience with dogs. Growing up on a farm in Texas, Marcus had always been good with animals. Luna came from a special breeding program. Her parents were champion German shepherds selected for intelligence and courage. She cost the military over $50,000 to train. She spent 2 years in intensive training before she ever saw a battlefield. The training was incredible. Luna learned to detect over 20 different types of explosives. She could smell tiny amounts of bomb-making materials from hundreds of feet away. She could find hidden bombs that electronic equipment missed. But Luna wasn't just good at her job. She was amazing at it. In 18 months of active duty, she found over 40 explosive devices. Roadside bombs that would have killed dozens of soldiers. Car bombs that would have destroyed entire convoys. Marcus and Luna worked together every day. They walked dangerous roads looking for hidden explosives. They searched buildings where terrorists might have left bombs. They cleared paths for other soldiers to follow safely. Luna saved lives almost every week. The other soldiers called her a miracle dog. They said she had a sixth sense about danger. Command started sending Marcus and Luna on the most important missions. Marcus remembered one day in particular. They were searching a marketplace in Kabul. Intelligence said there might be a bomb hidden somewhere in the area. Luna found 3 separate devices in less than an hour. If any of those bombs had exploded, hundreds of innocent people would have died. The bond between Marcus and Luna grew stronger every day. In combat, you learn to trust your partner completely. Marcus trusted Luna with his life. Luna trusted Marcus with hers. They had been together for over a year when the worst day came. Marcus and Luna were leading a patrol through a dangerous area. Luna was checking the road ahead for buried bombs. She found one. A big roadside bomb hidden under some rocks. Marcus called it in to the bomb disposal team. They would come and safely remove the explosive. But there was a second bomb. One that Luna missed. Or maybe one that wasn't there when she first checked. Sometimes the enemy would plant bombs after the dogs had already searched an area. The second bomb exploded when Marcus stepped on it. The blast threw him 20 feet through the air. When he woke up in the military hospital, his left leg was gone. Luna had been hurt too. The explosion gave her cuts and bruises, but nothing serious. She was lucky. Marcus was the one who paid the real price. While Marcus recovered in the hospital, Luna stayed with other handlers. But she wasn't the same dog anymore. She was sad and confused. She kept looking for Marcus. She wouldn't eat properly. She wouldn't play with the other dogs. The military doctor said Luna was suffering from depression. Animals can get PTSD too, just like humans. Luna missed her partner. She didn't understand why Marcus wasn't there anymore. When Marcus finally got his prosthetic leg and learned to walk again, the military had a choice to make. Marcus couldn't return to active duty. His fighting days were over. But what should they do with Luna? Luna was still young. She still had years of service left in her. They could give her a new handler and send her back to work. But Luna didn't want a new handler. She wanted Marcus. A special program existed for situations like this. The military could retire Luna early and have her retrained as a service dog for Marcus. She would help him adjust to civilian life. It took 6 months of additional training. Luna had to learn new skills. Instead of finding bombs, she learned to help Marcus with his balance. Instead of alerting to danger, she learned to wake him from nightmares. But Luna never forgot her original training. You can't erase that kind of specialized knowledge. Deep in her brain, she still knew how to detect explosives. She still remembered the smells and the signals. The military classified Luna's combat record. For security reasons, they couldn't let everyone know about her special abilities. If criminals knew there was a bomb detection dog living as a civilian pet, it could create problems. So Marcus and Luna came home to Texas. To most people, Luna was just a service dog helping a disabled veteran. Nobody knew she was one of the most successful bomb detection dogs in military history. Nobody knew that Luna had saved over 200 lives during her military service. Nobody knew that she had never made a mistake. When Luna alerted to explosives, there were always explosives. Marcus tried to forget about those days too. He wanted to focus on healing and moving forward. He didn't talk about Luna's military service. He just told people she was his service dog. But now, standing in this courtroom, Marcus couldn't forget anymore. Luna was giving him the same signals she used to give in Afghanistan. The same alert posture, the same urgent barking, the same focused attention on a specific area. Marcus looked at Luna and saw not just his service dog, but his combat partner. The dog who had saved hundreds of lives. The dog who had never been wrong about danger. If Luna said there was a bomb in this courtroom, then there was a bomb in this courtroom. The question was, what should Marcus do about it? How could he convince these people that his simple service dog was actually a highly trained explosives detection expert? And how could he do it before it was too late? Marcus felt time slowing down. Everything around him seemed to move in slow motion. Judge Thornton was still yelling about contempt of court. People in the courtroom were talking loudly. But all Marcus could focus on was Luna. Luna had moved to a new position. She was now sitting directly in front of the judge's bench. Her nose pointed toward something underneath the big wooden desk. Her tail was completely still. Her breathing was controlled and steady. This was Luna's final alert position. In Afghanistan, when she sat like this, it meant one thing. Explosive device found. Target located. Danger confirmed. Marcus's military training kicked in. In combat situations, you don't waste time thinking. You act fast and think later. People's lives depend on quick decisions. But this wasn't a battlefield. This was a courtroom full of innocent people. Marcus couldn't just yell bomb and cause a panic. People could get hurt trying to run away. Someone could get trampled. He needed to be smart about this. He needed to get help from someone with authority, someone who could evacuate the building safely. Officer Johnson was still standing next to Marcus. The bailiff looked confused and worried. He kept glancing between Marcus and Luna, trying to understand what was happening. Marcus made a decision. He would trust Officer Johnson. The bailiff seemed like a good man, someone who might listen to reason. Marcus moved closer to the bailiff and spoke very quietly. Only Officer Johnson could hear him. "Sir, I need you to listen to me carefully. Don't react. Don't look surprised. Just listen." Officer Johnson nodded slightly. He could hear the seriousness in Marcus's voice. "Luna is not just a service dog," Marcus whispered. "She's a retired military working dog. She was trained to detect explosives in Afghanistan." The bailiff's eyes widened a little, but he kept his voice low. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. She saved over 200 lives during her military service. She never made a mistake. Not once." Officer Johnson glanced at Luna. The dog was still in perfect alert position, still focused on the area under Judge Thornton's desk. "What is she telling you?" the bailiff asked quietly. Marcus took a deep breath. "She's telling me there's an explosive device somewhere near the judge's bench, probably hidden underneath it." Officer Johnson felt his heart start to race. In 20 years of police work, he had dealt with bomb threats before. Most were fake, people making prank calls or trying to get attention. But this felt different. This felt real. "How sure are you?" Officer Johnson whispered. "Luna has never been wrong. If she says there's a bomb, there's a bomb." The bailiff looked around the courtroom. About 30 people were still sitting in the benches. Judge Thornton was still arguing with Marcus about leaving. Nobody else seemed to notice that anything was wrong. "What do you think I should do?" Officer Johnson asked. Marcus thought fast. "We need to evacuate everyone, but we need to do it quietly. No panic, no running. We tell people there's a gas leak or something. Get them out slowly and safely." Officer Johnson nodded. That made sense. He had been trained in emergency evacuation procedures. Keep people calm. Move them in an orderly fashion. But there was one problem. Judge Thornton was in charge of this courtroom. She wouldn't let people leave just because a bailiff told them to. She would want to know why. "The judge won't listen to me," Officer Johnson said. "She'll think I'm crazy." Marcus looked at Judge Thornton. She was still angry about Luna being in her courtroom. She had been nothing but cruel to Marcus. Why would she trust him now? "Maybe we don't tell her the real reason," Marcus suggested. "Maybe we make up something else." Officer Johnson thought about this. He didn't like lying to a judge. But if there really was a bomb in the courtroom, saving lives was more important than telling the truth. "What about calling the police?" the bailiff asked. "Getting the bomb squad here?" "That's a good idea," Marcus said. "But it might take too long. If Luna is right, we need to get people away from here right now." Luna suddenly made a soft whining sound. She was getting more agitated. In Afghanistan, this usually meant the explosive device was unstable, or that there were multiple devices. Marcus felt a chill run down his spine. "Officer Johnson, we need to move fast. Luna's behavior is getting more urgent." The bailiff made a decision. He would trust Marcus and Luna. Better to be wrong about a bomb threat than to be wrong about ignoring one. "Okay," Officer Johnson said. "Here's what we'll do. I'll go tell the judge there's been a report of a gas leak in the building. I'll ask her to recess the court so everyone can evacuate safely." Marcus nodded. "That sounds good. What should I do?" "Keep watching Luna. If her behavior changes, let me know immediately." Officer Johnson walked toward Judge Thornton's bench. Marcus stayed with Luna, watching her every movement. The dog was now breathing faster. Her ears were moving back and forth, listening to sounds that humans couldn't hear. Her nose was working constantly, analyzing smells in the air. Marcus had seen this behavior before. In Afghanistan, Luna would act like this when she detected multiple explosive devices, or when she sensed that a bomb was about to go off. "Judge Thornton," Officer Johnson said formally, "I need to speak with you privately." The judge looked annoyed. "Can't you see I'm dealing with this situation, bailiff?" "Your Honor, this is urgent. It's about building safety." Judge Thornton paused. Building safety was serious business. She couldn't ignore that, even if she was angry. "Very well. Everyone remain seated. I'll be back in one moment." Judge Thornton stepped down from her bench and walked toward Officer Johnson. They moved to a corner of the courtroom where they could speak privately. Marcus watched them talking. Officer Johnson was explaining something in urgent whispers. Judge Thornton's face was changing from anger to concern. While they talked, Marcus kept his eyes on Luna. The dog was now looking directly at him. Her expression was unmistakable. She was trying to tell him something important. Luna stood up and took several steps toward the judge's bench. Then she stopped and looked back at Marcus. She was trying to show him something. Marcus understood. Luna wanted him to see exactly where the danger was. She was pointing him toward the specific location of the explosive device. But getting closer to a bomb was the last thing Marcus wanted to do. In Afghanistan, when Luna found an explosive, everyone moved away from it. They called in the experts to handle it safely. There were no bomb disposal experts here. Just Marcus, Luna, and a courtroom full of innocent people. Marcus looked at the clock on the wall. How long had they been here? How long had the bomb been in place? Was it on a timer? Was someone waiting to set it off remotely? Luna barked once more. A sharp, urgent sound that seemed to say, "Danger! Move now!" Marcus knew they were running out of time. Officer Johnson finished talking to Judge Thornton. Marcus watched as the judge's face changed completely. Her anger disappeared. Now she looked worried and scared. Judge Thornton walked back to her bench, but she didn't sit down. Instead, she picked up her microphone and spoke to the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a short break. There has been a report of a possible gas leak in the building. For everyone's safety, we need to evacuate the courtroom in an orderly fashion. Some people in the courtroom looked confused. Others started to gather their things. Nobody seemed panicked, which was good. Please move slowly toward the exits, Judge Thornton continued. Do not run. Do not push. Just walk calmly out of the building. People started to stand up and move toward the doors. Parents held their children's hands. The older veterans helped each other up from their seats, but Luna wasn't moving. She was still focused on the judge's bench. Her alert was getting stronger, not weaker. This worried Marcus a lot. Officer Johnson came back over to Marcus. How is she doing? He asked quietly. Marcus shook his head. She's getting more agitated. I think we need to look under that bench. Look under it? Isn't that dangerous? Very dangerous, Marcus admitted. But if there really is a bomb, we need to know what we're dealing with. Is it on a timer? Is it remote controlled? How big is it? Officer Johnson looked nervous. He wasn't trained for bomb disposal. He was just a courthouse bailiff. Maybe we should wait for the professionals, he suggested. Marcus understood the bailiff's fear, but Luna's behavior was telling him they didn't have time to wait. In Afghanistan, Luna and I were always the first ones to investigate, Marcus explained. We were trained for this. Let me take a look. Most people had left the courtroom by now. Only a few stragglers remained, gathering their papers and belongings. Judge Thornton was still at her bench, but she was ready to leave too. Judge, Officer Johnson called. You should go with the others. We'll handle things here. Judge Thornton hesitated. She looked at Marcus and Luna with different eyes now. Not with anger, but with something like respect. Officer Johnson told me about your dog's military service, she said to Marcus. I owe you an apology. Marcus was surprised. Judge Thornton had been so cruel to him earlier. Now she sounded almost humble. We can talk about that later, Your Honor, Marcus said. Right now you need to get to safety. Judge Thornton nodded and walked toward the door, but she stopped and looked back. Mr. Rodriguez, thank you for trying to help, even after how I treated you. After the judge left, only Marcus, Luna, and Officer Johnson remained in the courtroom. The big room felt empty and quiet now. Luna was still in alert position. She hadn't moved from her spot in front of the judge's bench. Okay, girl, Marcus said softly. Show me what you found. Luna immediately moved closer to the bench. She went around to the backside where no one could normally see. Her nose went straight to a specific spot under the wooden structure. Marcus got down on his hands and knees. His prosthetic leg made it awkward, but he managed to crawl under the bench. What he saw made his blood turn cold. There was indeed a bomb, a crude but effective explosive device taped to the underside of Judge Thornton's bench. Marcus had seen similar devices in Afghanistan. Homemade but deadly. Officer Johnson, Marcus called quietly. You need to see this. The bailiff came around and crouched down. When he saw the bomb, his face went white. Oh my God, he whispered. It's real. The device was bigger than Marcus had expected. It looked like several sticks of dynamite wired together with a digital timer. Red numbers were counting down on a small screen. Marcus felt sick when he read the timer. 12 minutes and 37 seconds. 12 minutes and 36 seconds. The numbers kept getting smaller. We need to call the bomb squad right now, Officer Johnson said. Marcus was already pulling out his phone. But as he dialed, he did some quick math in his head. How long would it take for the bomb squad to get here? How long would it take them to set up their equipment? Probably longer than 12 minutes. Officer Johnson, Marcus said as he waited for someone to answer his call. We need to clear the entire building. Not just this courtroom. The whole courthouse, the bailiff understood immediately. If this bomb went off, it would damage much more than just Judge Thornton's courtroom. I'll call building security, Officer Johnson said. Taking out his own phone, Marcus got through to the police dispatcher. He explained the situation as calmly as he could. Yes, there was a confirmed explosive device. Yes, they needed the bomb squad immediately. Yes, they were evacuating the building. When Marcus hung up, the timer showed 10 minutes and 18 seconds. Luna was still alerting. She hadn't relaxed at all. In fact, she seemed even more agitated now. "Luna, what is it?" Marcus asked his dog. Luna moved to a different spot under the bench. She sniffed around and then sat in her alert position again. Marcus crawled over to where Luna was indicating. His heart sank when he saw what she had found. A second bomb. Smaller than the first one, but with its own timer. This one showed 8 minutes and 42 seconds. "There's another one," Marcus called to Officer Johnson. The bailiff came over and looked. "2 bombs? Why would someone plant 2 bombs? Marcus had seen this before in Afghanistan. "Backup plan," he explained. "If one doesn't work, the other will. Or maybe they're set to go off at different times." The building fire alarm started ringing. Officer Johnson had successfully contacted security, and they were evacuating everyone. But Marcus and Officer Johnson were still in the most dangerous place in the building. "Right next to 2 active bombs. We should leave now," Officer Johnson said. Marcus wanted to leave. Every instinct told him to run as far away as possible. But something made him stay. Luna was still alerting. She was moving around under the bench, sniffing different areas. Her behavior suggested there might be even more devices. "Luna, how many?" Marcus asked his dog. Luna moved to a third location and sat down in alert position. Marcus's heart sank. 3 bombs. All hidden under Judge Thornton's bench. All counting down to explosion. The timer on the first bomb now showed 7 minutes and 53 seconds. Marcus made a difficult decision. He and Officer Johnson needed to leave immediately. But first, he needed to get as much information as possible about these bombs. Information that might help the bomb squad save the building. He took pictures with his phone. Pictures of each device, each timer, each wire. The bomb squad would need to see exactly what they were dealing with. Luna suddenly barked loudly. Not her alert bark. Her warning bark. The bark that meant immediate danger. Marcus looked at the timer on the second bomb. It was counting down faster than he expected. 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2 minutes and 14 seconds. "Run!" Marcus shouted to Officer Johnson. "Run right now!" Marcus, Luna, and Officer Johnson ran from the courtroom as fast as they could. Marcus's prosthetic leg made running difficult, but fear gave him extra speed. Luna ran beside him, no longer alerting, but staying close to protect him. The courthouse hallways were full of confused people. Office workers, lawyers, judges, and visitors were all streaming toward the exits. The fire alarm was still ringing loudly. "Keep moving. Everyone out of the building!" Officer Johnson shouted as he ran. Marcus checked his watch. If his memory was right, they had less than 2 minutes before the first bomb exploded. Outside the courthouse, police cars were arriving with sirens blaring. Fire trucks were pulling up too. Someone had called in the evacuation as a full emergency. Marcus found a police sergeant and showed him the pictures on his phone. 3 bombs, Marcus explained quickly, all under the judge's bench in courtroom 205, timers counting down. Less than 2 minutes left. The police sergeant's eyes went wide when he saw the pictures. He immediately got on his radio to warn everyone to stay far away from the building. Marcus, Luna, and Officer Johnson joined the crowd of people standing across the street from the courthouse. Everyone was looking up at the building, waiting and worried. Judge Thornton found Marcus in the crowd. She looked shaken and pale. "Mr. Rodriguez," she said quietly, "Officer Johnson told me everything. About Luna's military service. About how she detected the bombs. I don't know what to say." Marcus was watching the courthouse windows, counting seconds in his head. "You don't need to say anything, Your Honor. Just stay back from the building." The crowd had grown to over 100 people. News reporters were arriving. Police were setting up barriers to keep everyone safe. Marcus looked at his watch again. Any second now. The explosion was smaller than he expected. Just a flash of light in one of the courthouse windows, followed by a muffled boom. Some of the windows on that side of the building cracked, but the building didn't collapse. A few seconds later, there was a second explosion. Then a third. People in the crowd gasped and pointed. Smoke was coming from the courthouse windows. But the building was still standing. The police sergeant came back to Marcus. "The bomb squad is here now. They want to talk to you about what you saw." Marcus spent the next hour talking to bomb disposal experts. He showed them his pictures and described exactly where each device had been located. Luna stayed beside him the whole time, finally relaxed now that the danger was over. The bomb squad leader was impressed. "Your dog saved a lot of lives today," he told Marcus. "If those bombs had gone off while people were still in the building, We would have had multiple casualties. How bad was the damage? Marcus asked. Not too bad considering. The bombs were designed to kill people in that specific courtroom, not to bring down the whole building. Judge Thornton's bench was destroyed and there's some structural damage, but the building is salvageable. While Marcus talked to the bomb experts, police detectives were investigating who had planted the bombs. It didn't take them long to find answers. Security cameras had recorded everything. They showed a man sneaking into the courthouse late at night 3 days ago. He had used a stolen maintenance uniform and fake ID to get past security. The man's name was Robert Chen. 2 months ago, Judge Thornton had ruled against him in a bitter custody battle with his ex-wife. He lost visitation rights with his children because of his history of domestic violence. Chen had made threats against Judge Thornton after the custody hearing. He had sent her angry letters and emails, but no one thought he would actually try to hurt her. The police found Chen at his apartment that evening. He was watching news coverage of the courthouse evacuation on TV. He confessed immediately. I wanted her to pay for what she did to me, he told the detectives. She ruined my life. She kept me from seeing my kids. Chen had planned to set off the bombs during Judge Thornton's morning court session. He wanted to kill the judge and anyone else who happened to be in the courtroom. He never expected a military bomb detection dog to find his devices. That evening, Marcus was at home with Luna when his phone rang. It was Judge Thornton, Mr. Rodriguez, she said. Her voice sounded different, softer, more humble. I wanted to call and thank you personally. You and Luna saved my life today. Marcus didn't know what to say. This morning, Judge Thornton had been the cruelest person he had ever met. Now she was thanking him. I also wanted to apologize, the judge continued. My behavior in court today was inexcusable. I was wrong about you. I was wrong about Luna. I was wrong about everything. It's okay, Your Honor, Marcus said, though it really wasn't okay. The judge's words had hurt him deeply. No, it's not okay, Judge Thornton said firmly. I let my prejudices cloud my judgment. I treated you badly because I made assumptions about disabled veterans. I thought you were trying to take advantage of the system. Marcus listened quietly. The truth is, Judge Thornton continued, I was having a bad day. My husband left me last month. My own kids won't talk to me because they say I'm too harsh and cold. I took my personal problems out on you, and that was wrong. Marcus felt some sympathy for the judge. Everyone had problems. Everyone had bad days. But that didn't excuse treating people badly. I want to make things right, Judge Thornton said. Your disability benefits hearing will be rescheduled as soon as possible. And I promise you'll get a fair hearing this time. Thank you, Marcus said. There's something else, the judge added. I've been doing some research about Luna's military service. The police told me she saved over 200 lives in Afghanistan. Is that true? Marcus looked down at Luna, who was sleeping peacefully by his feet. Yes, it's true. She was one of the best bomb detection dogs in the military. Then she's a hero, Judge Thornton said. And so are you. You both served our country with honor. You both risked your lives to keep other people safe. And today you did it again. Marcus felt tears in his eyes. It had been a long time since anyone had called him a hero. Mr. Rodriguez, Judge Thornton said, would you be willing to meet with me tomorrow? I have an idea about how I can make up for my behavior today. Marcus was curious. What kind of idea? I'll tell you tomorrow. But I think you and Luna might be able to help me become a better judge, and maybe help other veterans who come through my courtroom. After Marcus hung up, he petted Luna gently. She woke up and looked at him with her faithful brown eyes. Good girl, Marcus whispered. You saved everyone today. I'm so proud of you. Luna's tail wagged once. Then she went back to sleep. Marcus thought about the strange day. It had started with humiliation and anger, but it ended with gratitude and hope. Sometimes the worst days turn into the most important days. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most end up helping you the most. And sometimes a good dog can change everything. The next morning, Marcus woke up feeling different. For the first time in months, he didn't have nightmares about explosions. He didn't wake up in a cold sweat. Luna had slept peacefully beside his bed all night. Marcus got dressed in his best clothes. Judge Thornton had asked him to meet her at the courthouse at 10 o'clock. The building was still closed for repairs, but they were meeting in a temporary office downtown. When Marcus and Luna arrived, Judge Thornton was already waiting. She looked different too. Instead of her black judge robes, she wore a simple blue dress. Her hair was down instead of pulled back tight. She looked more human. "Mr. Rodriguez, thank you for coming," she said, standing to greet him. "And hello, Luna. I owe you a thank you too." Luna wagged her tail slightly. She was always polite to everyone, even people who had been mean before. Judge Thornton gestured to 2 chairs. "Please sit down. I have several things I want to discuss with you." Marcus sat down carefully. His prosthetic leg always took a moment to adjust to new positions. "First," Judge Thornton began, "I want to give you this." She handed Marcus an official-looking document. He read it quickly. It was an approval for his disability benefits. Full benefits, effective immediately. "Your case was actually very straightforward," Judge Thornton explained. "I should have approved it yesterday morning in about 5 minutes. I let my personal problems interfere with my professional judgment." Marcus felt a huge weight lift off his shoulders. These benefits would pay for his medical care and help him survive while he figured out what to do with his life. "Thank you," he said quietly. "That's not all," Judge Thornton continued. "I've been in touch with the mayor's office and the police department. They want to honor you and Luna for yesterday's heroic actions." Marcus looked confused. "Honor us how?" "There's going to be a ceremony next week. The mayor will present you both with the city's highest civilian award for bravery. Luna will also receive a special recognition from the police K-9 unit." Marcus felt overwhelmed. He hadn't expected any of this. "I don't need awards," he said. "Luna and I were just doing what we were trained to do." Judge Thornton smiled. "That's exactly what makes you heroes. You did the right thing even when it was difficult, even after I treated you so badly." She paused and looked directly at Marcus. "Which brings me to my next point. I owe you a public apology." "You already apologized," Marcus said. "Not publicly. Yesterday morning, a courtroom full of people watched me humiliate a disabled veteran. They watched me dismiss your service and question your integrity. I need to make that right." Judge Thornton pulled out a piece of paper. "I've written a statement that will be published in the local newspaper tomorrow. It explains what really happened yesterday. It talks about your military service and Luna's heroic record, and it includes my full apology for my inappropriate behavior." Marcus read the statement. It was honest and humble. Judge Thornton didn't make excuses for her actions. She took full responsibility. "I'm also attending sensitivity training," she added. "The judicial board is requiring it after yesterday's incident. I need to learn how to better serve veterans and people with disabilities." Marcus was impressed. Judge Thornton was taking real steps to change her behavior. "There's one more thing," Judge Thornton said. "This is the big idea I mentioned yesterday." She leaned forward in her chair, looking excited. "I want to start a special veterans court program. A court specifically designed to help veterans navigate the legal system. Veterans would get services designed just for them." Marcus was intrigued. "What kind of services?" "Mental health support, job placement help, housing assistance, disability benefits guidance. Everything veterans need in one place." Judge Thornton pulled out a folder full of papers. "I've been researching similar programs in other cities. They're very successful. Veterans get better outcomes and the community benefits too." She looked at Marcus hopefully. "I'd like you to help me design this program. You understand what veterans need better than anyone." Marcus was surprised. "You want me to work with you?" "I want you to work with me," Judge Thornton confirmed. "I think your experience as a veteran combined with Luna's special abilities could help create something really special." Marcus thought about it. A few days ago, he was just trying to get his disability benefits approved. Now he was being offered a chance to help other veterans. "What would I do exactly?" he asked. "Help train court staff about veteran issues, sit in on cases involving veterans, make sure they get fair treatment and proper services, be an advocate." Judge Thornton paused. "And Luna could help too. We could use her as a therapy dog for veterans dealing with PTSD. Her calming presence could help them feel more comfortable in court." Marcus looked down at Luna. She was lying peacefully at his feet, but her ears were alert. She was listening to everything. "I'd also like Luna to be our unofficial security consultant," Judge Thornton added with a small smile. "Her bomb detection skills could help keep everyone safe." Marcus felt something he hadn't felt in a long time. Purpose. For 3 years, he had been struggling to find his place in civilian life. He had been fighting just to survive, just to get by. Now someone was offering him a chance to serve again, to help other veterans who were going through the same struggles he had faced. "I'll do it," Marcus said. Judge Thornton's face lit up with a genuine smile. Really? You'll help me with this? Luna and I will help you, Marcus confirmed. Over the next few weeks, the story of Marcus, Luna, and Judge Thornton spread throughout the city. Local news stations ran features about the heroic bomb detection dog and the disabled veteran who saved lives. The Veterans Court program became a model for other cities. Marcus worked with Judge Thornton to design services that really helped veterans. They created support groups, job training programs, and mental health services. Luna became famous too. She visited schools to teach children about service dogs and military working dogs. She went to veterans events where she provided comfort to soldiers dealing with PTSD. Most importantly, Judge Thornton kept her promise to change. She attended sensitivity training and learned to treat all people with respect and dignity. She became known as one of the most fair and compassionate judges in the state. 6 months after the bomb incident, Marcus and Luna were invited back to the rebuilt courthouse for a special ceremony. Judge Thornton's new courtroom had a plaque on the wall that read, "In honor of all veterans who have served our country with courage and dedication." During the ceremony, Judge Thornton spoke to a packed courtroom. 6 months ago, "I made a terrible mistake in this room," she said. "I let my prejudices blind me to the truth. I treated a hero badly because I couldn't see past my own problems." She looked directly at Marcus and Luna. Marcus Rodriguez and Luna didn't just save lives that day. They saved me from my own ignorance. They taught me that real strength comes from service to others. Real courage means doing the right thing even when it's difficult. Judge Thornton paused, and Marcus could see tears in her eyes. They also taught me that everyone deserves a second chance. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. That's what justice really means, the audience applauded. Veterans in the crowd stood up to honor Marcus and Luna. Families who had been helped by the new Veterans Court program cheered. Marcus felt proud, but not just of the recognition. He felt proud that he and Luna had found a way to keep serving. They were helping other veterans find hope and support. After the ceremony, a young veteran approached Marcus. She had lost an arm in Iraq and was struggling with PTSD. "Thank you," she said simply. "The Veterans Court program helped me get my life back. I have a job now and a place to live. I couldn't have done it without the support." Marcus smiled. "That's what we're here for. Veterans helping veterans." The young woman knelt down to pet Luna. "And thank you too, Luna. You're a good dog." Luna wagged her tail and licked the veteran's hand. She seemed to understand that she was still serving her country, just in a different way. As Marcus and Luna walked home that evening, Marcus thought about how much their lives had changed. A year ago, he was struggling with depression and fighting for basic benefits. Now he was helping other veterans and working with a judge who had become a real friend. Sometimes the worst moments in life lead to the best outcomes. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most end up helping you grow. And sometimes, a good dog with special skills can change not just one life, but an entire community. Marcus looked down at Luna, who was walking proudly beside him with her service dog vest gleaming in the evening sun. "Come on, girl," he said softly. "Let's go home. We've got more work to do tomorrow." Luna wagged her tail and quickened her pace. She knew they were part of something important now. They were making a difference, and for both Marcus and Luna, that was the best reward of all.